All right, guys, today we are working on the practice book, section 10, topic 2. That's page 160. Okay, I have it pulled up here, obviously, on a Word document, so I can work through it with you. If you think you're able to do this on your own, please feel free to go ahead and do it first, and then come back, watch the video, check your answers, and then fill in your answers below on the forms, okay? So this is very similar to what we did yesterday. Same style of questions, same setup, just giving us different numbers and different scenarios. So let's just go ahead and get started. Okay, sorry about that. So question number 1, it says students from Sandalwood High School were asked, when given the choice between math or English, which class they preferred to take during the first period. The data was broken down by gender. Okay, so here we have 55 males preferred math. So I'm going to go down to my two-way frequency table, go to the males row and the math column and fill in 55. 52 males preferred English. So I'm going to go down to the males row, English column, and fill in 52. 42 females preferred math. So females row, math column, and I can fill in the number 42. And 51 females preferred English. Okay, so I'm going to go down to my females row, my English column, and fill in 51. Now that I have all of the data filled into my two-way frequency chart, now I need to fill in my totals. 55 plus 52 is equal to 107. 42 plus 51 is equal to 93. 55 plus 42 is equal to 97. And 52 plus 51 is equal to 103. Now that I have those marginal totals done, now I just need to fill in my grand total to figure out the total number of students surveyed. So I can either add 97 plus 103 or 107 plus 93. Either way, I will still get 200. Okay. Now that my two-way frequency table is completely filled out, now I can answer the questions that follow. Part A says fill in and complete the following contingency table or two-way frequency table. We did that. Then it says circle the largest joint frequency. Now, if you remember from yesterday or from the videos, we talked about the fact that these 4 middle numbers are our joint frequencies. Excuse me. Okay, all of these numbers are our joint frequencies. So of these 4 numbers, we need to circle the largest joint frequency. So out of these 4, 55 is the largest joint frequency. So that's what I'm going to circle. It then asks in part A to put a box around the smallest marginal frequency. Well, just like we talked about yesterday in class, these numbers that are on the outside or in our margins are our marginal frequency numbers. Right? So out of those 5 numbers, what is the smallest marginal frequency? We need to put a box around the smallest one. In this case, it is 93. So our smallest marginal frequency is 93. Okay? Just like over here, our largest was 55. All right, part B. Which subject was preferred as a first period class and by what percentage? So which subject, so for this question, we are looking at just the subject math and just the subject English. So out of those two subjects, here and here are the numbers we're comparing. Which subject was preferred? Well, according to our data, the subject that was preferred was English. And to figure out the percentage, we're going to go over here to our calculator and we're going to do 103 because that's the number of students that preferred English, and we're going to divide by 200. That gives us 0.515, but to make it a percentage, we're going to multiply by 100 and we find out that it's 51.5%. Part C, males preferred which subject more? Okay, now we're specifically looking at the males. Okay, so just looking at the males row that I've highlighted in blue here, which subject did the males prefer more, math or English? Well, 55 students, males preferred math and only 52 preferred English. So this answer would be math. Part D, what frequency does 103 over 200 represent? Well, here we go again. They're talking about this 103, and that's this number right here. And that 103 is telling us the number of students that prefer English. Okay. But specifically, it wants to know if it's telling you a marginal frequency or a joint frequency, joint relative frequency. And because that 103 is in our margins, it is telling us the marginal relative frequency of students that prefer English. Okay, so the marginal relative frequency of students that prefer English. All right, question 1 is done. Now we're going to move on to question 2. Okay, so it says long-haul truckers were recently surveyed at a rest area in Tallahassee, Florida. The truckers were asked about what and how they primarily listen in their trucks while on the road. So we were given data in our two-way frequency table, but we were only given a portion of the data. Okay, so part A says compute the joint and marginal relative frequencies in the table. Well, we can't compute the joint and marginal relative frequencies until we have all of the totals figured out. So we have to fill in all the boxes first. So first we're going to do 21 plus 63, and we get, 84. 14 plus 77 at 91. 21 plus 14, we're going across in rows now, is 35. And 63 plus 77 is 140. Now that we have our margins filled out, we need to fill in our grand total. So we can either add 84 plus 91 or 140 plus 35, and we get 175. Now that we have our totals figured out, now we can go back and compute our marginal relative frequencies and our joint relative frequencies. So to do that, we're going to go over to our calculator and we're going to start right here with the loud volume and the talk radio. So they listen to talk radio with the loud volume. So that's going to be 21 divided by 175. And then we just multiply by 100 to get our percent. And that is 12%. Oops. 12%. Okay. Now we're going to do the next one. So music, the number of truckers that listen to music on loud volume. So that's going to be 14 divided by 175. And we get 0.08 multiplied by 100 to get our percent. And we find it is 8%. We're going to do the next with talk radio. They listen to talk radio on soft volume. So that's 63 divided by 175 multiplied by 100. And I get 36%. Then I have the number of truckers that listen to music on soft volume, which is 77. And we're going to divide that by 175, our total, and get 0.44 multiplied by 100 to get our percent. And we get 44%. All right, all of our joint relative frequencies are now done. Now we can go ahead and get started with our marginal relative frequencies. Okay, so how many truckers listen to talk radio? Well, that's going to be 84, still divided by 175, and I get 0.48 multiplied by 100, and it's 48%. Then we have the number of truckers that listen to music, which is 91. So 91 truckers listen to music. We're going to divide that by 175. We get 0.52. Multiply by 100, and we get 52%. Now we're going to compare the number of truckers that listen to their talk radio or music on loud volume. So they prefer loud volume, which is 35. 35 divided by 175, and we get 0.2. Multiply by 100, and we get 20%. I can write that a little bit better. And then finally, the number of truckers that listen to the soft volume is 140, and we're going to divide that by 175 and then multiply by 100, and we get 80%. Okay, our final relative frequency here is going to be 100% because 175 divided by 175 is 100%. So all of our orange percentages are our marginal relative frequencies, okay? Again, our margins are here on the outside of our two-way frequency table. So those are our marginal totals. And the boxes in the middle are telling us our joint frequencies. Okay, so we did part A. Part B, how many truckers listen to talk radio on soft volume? Okay, listen to talk radio on soft volume. So soft volume talk radio, that's going to be this square right here, and that answer then is 63. What percentage of truckers listened at a loud volume? Okay, now it's asking for a percent, and it wants a percent of just the loud volume. Okay, So the loud volume row, what we're going to be looking at is this percentage right here. And we've already calculated that, so we can just go ahead and fill that in as 20%. Part D, how many truckers were interviewed? Well, this number right here, how many were interviewed, is always going to tell you the number of people that were surveyed or interviewed. So in this particular case, it is 175. Part E, our last step, says circle which numbers represent the joint frequencies. So which numbers are the joint frequencies? Joint. And it doesn't want to know the percentages, it wants to just know the joint frequencies. And I'm going to do this just in black so that we can see it. So our joint frequencies are 21, 14, 77, and 63. Okay, so our joint frequencies are 21, 14, 63, and 77. Now, if it asked for the marginal relative frequencies, we would list the percentages that we did in our margins. So the marginal relative frequencies okay, the key difference here is that word is relative, so the marginal relative frequencies are going to be 48%, 52%, 20%, 80%, and 100%. Okay, that is it for the practice book problems. I hope that you're able to get them finished and turned in so that you can improve your grade. Have a great day, guys.